give me your thoughts on what you're seeing and how that's going to impact your business and others moving through the rest of this year and into next year.
The unique thing about real estate at the same time is everybody has different models. There are the people who can make the 30 unit buildings work and build these small infill sites. And um, me personally, I can't make that work. I'm not trained in that mindset and how to cut the cookie a different way, we'll call it. But everybody has their niche and figures it out based off kind of their experiences, their training. I come from, again, from a background of doing larger projects, mostly 150 to 300 some unit projects. So that's kind of the niche I feel most comfortable in. But I see there being lots of opportunity. I'll focus more on the new construction because acquisitions and value adds are a completely different game, and I don't do much of that anymore. But new construction, I see different opportunities. More so trying to work with cities. I think cities will come around a little bit more and trying to help with financial assistance. And there's been a lot of inclusionary zoning and different green initiatives around the country. So if people really want to start seeing this happen, and eventually some states are trying to push for net zero buildings, they're going to have to come to the table at the same time. So I see that happening. I don't know if that's quick or a long process that won't happen for the next 5 or 10 years, but I think being open to that will really start driving development. And I think some cities who are eager to keep their economic development growing will help developers and understand the processes. But there are a lot of cities at the same time too who say we just don't give handouts, and it's deemed a handout even though it's actually creating value and providing affordable housing for people across the country. But with the markets, construction is plateauing right now. Everybody hopes it's going to go down 10% or so, but it just kind of becomes the new norm. And plateau is maybe, hopefully it comes down 5% or something and just stays steady, and people get hungry. But the projects that are gonna work are gonna be the ones with unique stories, I think, over the next year, where you're really creating values in high barrier markets, or you're building something that is not easily done just because of the type of construction you're doing. I actually listened to one of your live podcasts a little while ago on the timber. I forget if the man's name. But
Andrew. Yep.
Andrew. Yep. But that was impressive, and I think there's opportunities for things like that. And the ESG guidelines that people are trying to push on to some of these developments, more the institutional equity partners who are trying to help reduce the carbon footprint and go more green, keep pushing the overall goals higher and the bar higher for developers to hit. It's going to make it tougher, but some things have to give, and we'll figure it out, and technology will keep innovating, and there'll be different ways. But timber is a great example from that live podcast you had that shows there are different ways to skin the cat.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point. The idea that in order to stand out today, it's going to need to be either material, kind of build approach, and or kind of brand and identity. How are you creating something that is unique and different in a particular location, right? Because if you take a step back and look at all the things being built, to your earlier point, it's a lot of the sameness with just some different, skin coats, and kind of like different package deals of the same thing. So I think Andrew's onto something and you're onto something there as far as moving forward, 2023, 2024, really needing to kind of plant your flag and say, I'm going to do this a little bit differently. And here's how, because I think that's really going to be a difference maker.